This lesson or these problems go over rectangles. Rectangles is part of chapter 7 as well. Of course, you know what a rectangle is, like you've been working with rectangles for a while. We're going to just make some little notes about the more specific parts of a rectangle. So rectangles. So down at the bottom, make some notes for yourself. Okay, so rectangle, as you know, it looks like this. What makes it a rectangle is the four right angles or 4 90-degree angles, so 4 right angles. And then something else to note about rectangles is the opposite sides are congruent, so this is congruent to this, and this is congruent here to this. And then something that also comes up, and this leads to more, but with a rectangle, the diagonals of the rectangle are congruent. So diagonals are congruent. Also, these diagonals bisect each other, so like this is the same measure as this, and then since the diagonals are congruent, this is equal to this, and all four of these segments are the same measure. Then what happens is you have isosceles triangles. So since this side is the same as this, you have an isosceles triangle, and these base angles are the same. So the diagonals make isosceles triangles. And so these base angles are the same measure, and then these base angles are the same measure, and then these two triangles are congruent because you have side, 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 because this side equals this side, and now you have side, 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 and these two triangles are congruent. Then also, another color, just kind of tying it all together. Where's my blue? Okay. Then these two triangles are congruent and isosceles as well. So this angle is equal to this one. The two base angles are the same. And then this angle is equal to this one. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you guys for being quiet so I can teach. Okay, so those are the basic ideas of a rectangle, and then we're going to apply that to the problems. Okay? Is he ready? Almost? Okay, up to the top. Here it says that this is a rectangle. It says that zx, what are we talking about? Zx. So this whole thing right here is 6x minus 4, and then wy, so wy is this diagonal right here, is this amount. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent, so we can set these equal to solve for x. So 6x minus 4 equals 4x plus 14, and we're going to solve for x. I can zoom in a little bit, but yeah, I think you need your eyes checked. 2x equals, in the nicest ways possible, let's see, divided by 2, x equals 9. So we got x equals 9, but it asks for the length of zx. This is common. You'll have to find x and then plug it in for zx, and zx is 6x minus 4, so 6 times 9 minus 4 would be 54. Minus 4, 50. Are you ready for number 2? Okay, are we still writing? So I feel like I should wait a second. Okay, number 2, it says that wy, so this purple part right here, wy is this, and wr, which is just like half of that, wr right here, is 3y plus 4. So WR is half of that whole thing, because remember these diagonals bisect each other. So 2 of these would equal the whole thing. So 3y plus 4 equals 26. Hmm? 3y plus 4. And then, oh, no, I didn't say 24. 2 times 3y would be 6y. 2 times 4 would be 8. 6y equals 18. And y equals 3. Okay, 3, we're going to skip it for right now and go back to it. It's a little bit of a more like challenging problem, so we'll skip it and go back to it at the end. For 4 and 5, it says that this shape is a rectangle, find each value, and it's talking about angle measures. Remember, with a rectangle, you have the 90-degree angles here. And that's all we need to know for now, actually. So it says find the measure of VRS. So it wants to know this angle right here. It shows that this is 38 degrees, but since it's a rectangle, these two angles add to 90. So to find just this part, we can do 90 minus 38, and that equals 52 degrees. And then it wants to know the measure of RVU. RVU is this angle right here. Well, remember these are isosceles triangles. So whatever this angle measure is, so is this. So these two are 38 degrees. And then the angles of a triangle add to 180. So in this triangle right here, we can do 180 minus 38 minus 38, and we'll get this angle right here, which comes out to 104 degrees. Okay, and then standardized test practice. Given ABCD is a rectangle, what is the length of BC right here? So we're trying to figure out what this length is. Well, in a rectangle, like opposite sides are equal. So if I find the length of this, I'll also have the length over here. Over here, it shows that the x's are the same. So then I can just find the difference in the y's. 2 minus -5 would be 7. So this is 7 units, and therefore this would be 7 units as well. So the answer is C. No, we got one more. Number 3 was the one that was a little bit more challenging. It says measure of WXY is 6a squared minus 6. So WXY right here is this angle, and in a rectangle, that's a 90-degree angle. So we're actually going to solve this right here in this space. So put 3 right here. Okay, so it says 6a squared minus 6 equals 90, and we're having to solve for a. Okay, we're going to bring in some algebra here. We're going to have to factor this, but before we do that, we need 90 to be over here, and this equal to 0. So we will subtract 90 here. You get 6a squared minus 96 equals 0. And then, next step, again, bring back some algebra. We're going to factor out a 6 out of both of these terms. So 6a squared, and then 96 divided by 6 is 16, equals 0. Okay, the 6 just kind of cancels out because if you divided both of these by 6, it would just be a squared minus 16 equals 0. And then the two factors for this would be a plus 4, a minus 4 equals 0. And then from here, we're going to use the 0 property and set both of these equal to 0. So a plus 4 equals 0, a minus 4 equals 0, and solve for a. Okay, so a has two answers. You can plug it back in to solve and make sure it's right, but they'll both work. So a is plus or minus 4. And that's just the answer.